22, the descendants of Ajamedha. Text number 33. Tava tataha subhadrayam tava tata subhadrayam abhimanyur ajayata abhimanyur ajayata sarva atirathajit Veera Sarvatirathajit Veera Uttarayam Tato Bhavan Uttarayam Tato Bhavan Tavatata Subhadrayam Abhimanyurajayata Sarvatirathajit Veera Uttarayam Tato Bhavan Tavatata Subhadrayam Abhimanyurajayata Sarvatirathajit Veera Uttarayam Tato Bhavan Tavatata Subhadrayam Tava, your, Tataha, father, Subhadrayam, in the womb of Subhadra, Abhimanyuha, Abhimanyu, Ajayata, was born, Sarva Atiratha Jet, a great fighter who could defeat the Atirathas, Veeraha, a great hero, Uttarayam, in the womb of Uttara, Tataha, from Abhimanyu, Bhavan, your good self. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. My dear King Parikshit, your father, Abhimanyu, was born from the womb of Subhadra as the son of Arjuna. He was the conqueror of all Atirathas, those who could fight with 1,000 charioteers. Atiratha means a single Kshatriya, who's called Atiratha. He can fight single-handed against 1,000 chariot fighters. So powerful. From him, that is from Abhimanyu, by the womb of Uttara, the daughter of Virat Raja, you were born. So somewhere the dynasty began to be described by Shukadeva Goswami. The son of the sun god, Vivaswan, Vivaswan's son, became the 7th Manu in this Manvantara, in this day of Brahma. So that is, Prabhupada calculates in the Bhagavad Gita. When did Krishna speak Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan? See? So Prabhupada calculates, and we can know this dynasty that is being traced 5,000 years ago. In the 9th canto, it is traced from Vaivasvata Manu. That's where it began, the description began. So Prabhupada says, the age of the current Manu, that is Vaivasvata Manu, is calculated to last some 305,300,000 years, of which 120,400,000 years have passed. So what is the age of the current Manu? 120 million years. That is 12 crore years. 12 crore years have passed, of which only 5,000 years have passed since Parikshit heard the Bhagavatam, about 5,000 years. So 12 crore minus 5,000, 5,000 is very insignificant compared to 12 crores. So about 12 crore years back, Vaivasvata Manu began ruling, and then 12 crore years the dynasty is traced in the Bhagavatam 9th canto. Who can do that? Only a liberated soul like Shukadeva Goswami can do it. Others, they will get confused, just like in the Vedic tradition, when we have to do Shraddha, I have to remember if my father is no more, which is the case with me. So then I have to remember my father's name, his father's name, that is my grandfather's name, paternal grandfather, and his father's name, great-grandfather's name. So I know my father's name, I know my grandfather's name, because that grandfather's name will be affixed in the father's name. Correct? I don't know my great-grandfather's name. At least now I don't remember. So Shukadeva Goswami, look at this. He is tracing back Parikshit's ancestry to 120 million years, or 12 crore years he is tracing back. Isn't that something really, really extraordinary? So Prabhupada explains, in the Vedic culture, there used to be a different category of historians. Now we say somebody is expert in history. So some portion of history they would have studied and they will tell you about the past. At the most, the modern historians can go up to 2,000 years. Maximum they can go up to 2,000 years, details of history. Whereas Vedic history is traced back up to the beginning of creation. Beginning of creation means the total creation duration is 311 trillion years. So Vedic history goes back. Now half of Brahma's lifetime is over, the present Brahma. So about 150 trillion, 155 trillion years is over. So we have history in the Bhagavatam about the birth of Brahma. 155 trillion years history is here. So where is the comparison with this nonsensical 2000-year-old history, which doesn't have any substance anyway? All they are writing is all the material activities of those people. In this Bhagavatam, material activities are not mentioned. Only spiritual activities. So the spiritual activities of great personalities from the beginning of creation, 155 trillion years is in the Bhagavatam. So when you say Bhagavatam, you should have so much respect for this literature. So when you're preaching, remember this point, that when you tell something about Bhagavatam, you should tell people this Bhagavatam is not simply some mythology. That's nonsense, calling it mythology. It is factual history of the entire creation, tracing back to the birth of Brahma 155 trillion years ago. And everything is factual. Everything is factual. Nothing is concocted here. Modern historians, they have so many theories. Aryan invasion theory. So many theories they have like that. Different theories they have. That means with some available so-called records of some inscriptions and some fossils and some bones and some stone impressions and all these type of things, they are trying to reconstruct. Because it is said that ancient historical records, written records, was destroyed in two places, Pataliputra and Nalanda. Two places, and it was set fire by some invaders, some foolish people, and the fire was burning for several years. Those manuscripts were burnt. So modern historians, they don't have manuscripts of all that history that was there in this country. Whereas our historical records are coming down in what is called as parampara system. In the parampara system, this knowledge, spiritual knowledge, coming down historically is handed down. And Prabhupada traces that. First, Krishna spoke to Brahma. So Krishna is the beginning of this tradition. And Krishna spoke to Brahma, Brahma spoke to Narada, and each personality receiving this historical knowledge, ancient knowledge, is handing it down as it is. Perfect knowledge received by the perfect person. Perfect person means liberated soul is receiving the knowledge and handed down to the next generation, another liberated soul. Another liberated soul. So, somebody may say 155 trillion years history, and Prabhupada is telling he is the 32nd in the parampara. So how can we accept it? Now, what happens is, Vyasadeva, who put it in writing, all this ancient history, Vedic history. He actually appeared on this earth 5,000 years ago. So from him, the knowledge is not only coming down in writing form, but also he instructed this knowledge to Madhvacharya. And Madhvacharya is just 700 years back. He appeared. So, this is the mystery of this particular parampara system. Now, Vyasadeva heard from Narada whatever he handed down to Madhvacharya, correct? Now, Vyasadeva heard from Narada 5,000 years back, correct? That's what we read in the Bhagavatam. Now, Narada, he received from Brahma. When did he receive this from Brahma? When was he born as Narada? Present Narada? Beginning of present day of Brahma. And present day of Brahma, how many years back? The present age or present Manu is 120 million years. So present Brahma will be, you have to add another 6 Manvantaras, 6 into 71 Mahayugas. Do that calculation, let us. You should know all these figures because these dull-headed materialists, they will not understand the importance of what we are speaking unless you give them facts and figures. How much is one Mahayuga? 43 lakh years. Okay, say 43 lakh into 71 is one Manvantara. Your number of digits will run out in your 1 billion. 1.8 billion is one Manvantara. Into 6 you already did. Okay. Totally 6 Manvantaras is 1.8 billion years. Add to that another 120 million. That is 0.12 billion. So another, say 1.9 billion. Correct? So Narada's age is 1.9 billion years. So Narada heard from Brahma 1.9 billion years back. Narada spoke to Vyasadeva 5,000 years back. Vyasadeva spoke to Madhvacharya 700 years back. So you see the jump. When did Brahma hear from Krishna? 155 trillion years back. So this is how the jump happens. Why Prabhupada is only 32nd in the parampara? Because of this jump. Should be able to explain this. You see, the lifespans are different in different planets and different personalities. It's not the same. Brahma is still living, Narada is still living, Vyasa is still living. You see? They are all living personalities. As Vyasa, as Brahma, as Narada. Of course, all the living entities are eternal. Nobody dies. But in that particular form that we know them, they have appeared on this earth or in some planet in this material world. In that sense, living personalities are Brahma, Narada, Vyasa that we know of. Because they live in a higher dimension of space. So that kind of history we are talking about. And we have actual names, activities. We trace the ancestry very accurately. Shukadeva Goswami has accurately traced the ancestry. At least in the 9th canto, we have accurate ancestry up to Parikshit Maharaj, beginning from Vaivasvata Manu. Vaivasvata Manu. So 120 million years, exactly such and such a personality, his son, his son, his son, his son, his son, up to Parikshit Maharaj is traced here in 9th canto. Accurately it is there. Okay? So this is the authenticity of the Puranas, Vedic literature. This is authentic Vedic literature. Actual names are there. Real personalities. So don't take this as mythology ever. Never consider this as some imaginary stories. These are all factual descriptions, 100% fact. So, you have not repeated this, no? This translation. No? Repeat this translation. My dear King Parikshit, your father Abhimanyu was born from the womb of Subhadra as the son of Arjuna. He was the conqueror of all Atirathas, those who could fight, with 1,000 charioteers. From him means from Abhimanyu. Please repeat. From Abhimanyu, by the womb of Uttara, the daughter of Virat Raja, you were born. This is Shukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit. Okay. The next few verses I'll read by myself, and that's practically the end of the chapter. Text 34. Parikshineshu kurushu drauner brahmastra tejasa tvam cha krishnanubhavena sajivo mochito antakat. Translation. This is the 34th verse. After the Kuru dynasty was annihilated in the battle of Kurukshetra, you also were about to be destroyed by the Brahmastra atomic weapon released by the son of Dronacharya. But by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, you were saved from death. Text 35. Tave me tanayastata janame jaya purvakaha Shrutaseno Bhimasena Ugrasenascha Viryavan. Translation. My dear king, your 4 sons, Janamejaya, Shrutasena, Bhimasena, and Ugrasena, are very powerful. Janamejaya is the eldest. Text 36. Janamejayastvam viditva Takshakan nidhanam gatam sarpan vai sarpayagagnau sahoshyati rushan vitaha. Translation. Because of your death by the Takshaka snake, even before he is going to die, already Shukadeva Goswami is telling without any hesitation, you're going to die by the bite of Takshaka. Some ordinary person will say, what? I'm going to die? By snake bite? So how do you know? I'm going to die by snake bite. So no question of how do you know. Trikalagnya, such liberated souls like Shukadeva Goswami, Vyasadeva, Brahma, Narada are called Trikalagnya. They know the past, present and future. Similarly, Prabhupada is also Acharya Trikalagnya, past, present, and future. So for them, there is no question of studying astrology, getting some mystic power. No, they don't require all that. How do they know the past, present, future? What is told in the Bhagavad Gita? 2 verses. By 2 verses, you should establish that a liberated soul like Prabhupada knows the past, present, and future. Krishna says, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani cha Arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani. Krishna says, I know the past, present, future of every living entity. Krishna knows. And what is the other verse by which I establish that Prabhupada knows everything? Yeah. What is the beginning of that verse? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayante. So Krishna sitting in the heart of everyone. For those who are satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam, for those who are engaged in loving devotional service constantly, to them I give them all knowledge. Dadami buddhi yogam. He gives all knowledge. So, devotees or acharyas like Prabhupada, they don't ask Krishna some ordinary things. Tell me some past, present, or future of some material activities. No. They only are in touch with Krishna for transcendental knowledge. So all transcendental knowledge that is recorded, or that is written or spoken by any liberated soul comprehends the 3 phases of time: past, present, and future. Otherwise, how can you understand? Prabhupada met his spiritual master maybe 5 or 6 times in his own lifetime. Prabhupada met only 5 or 6 times. Each meeting would have lasted at the most few hours. Each meeting at the most few hours. So even if you take 5 hours, which is not likely, anyway, the maximum he would have met his spiritual master 5 hours each time. So 5 times, 25 hours. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has handed down the entire teaching of the parampara, whole Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Upadeshamrita, Brahma Samhita, everything Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has handed over. So in such a short time, can't even sit and hear him speak even the verses and translations. So when did Prabhupada learn all these things from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? That's a parampara system, no? What's the answer? Writing. But when did Prabhupada get time to study all these writings? He was busy with his pharmacy business, with traveling, printing. So much work he had. It's not only his study, but also every moment from within his heart, he's constantly in touch with Krishna, who's present as the Chaitya Guru. And the spiritual master, one's own spiritual master, according to the Bhagavatam, 11th canto, quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, 1st chapter. The Supreme Lord as Super Soul mercifully manifests as the liberated Vaishnava Acharya, as the spiritual master. So, Prabhupada's spiritual master is present in Prabhupada's heart as the Chaitya Guru also as Chaitya Guru. Every moment, Prabhupada is in touch with his spiritual master in this way. And being in touch with spiritual master means whatever he requires to write or to speak or to know, everything is dictated by the super soul. Everything is dictated by the super soul. One conversation with one reporter. One reporter was asking Prabhupada about some choice that Prabhupada had made. So, Prabhupada explained that I made this choice of doing something in the Krishna consciousness movement. So, reporter said, it's your choice? Yeah, it is my choice, but it is based on Krishna's direction. So, Krishna means God. Prabhupada said, try to understand God. So, God's direction. So, ultimately, the choice Prabhupada made is based on God's direction. Then Prabhupada explains, the spiritual master is receiving this direction every moment from God, from within his heart. And this is confirmed by Srila Narottam Das Thakur in the song we sing every day. What is that? Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. All spiritual knowledge for a disciple is actually revealed from within the heart every moment by the spiritual master, who is non-different from the super soul, who is non-different from Krishna. And this is explained by Prabhupada in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 17th verse. I think the 17th verse, purport. What does Prabhupada say? .17. That verse says, for a liberated soul, there are no duties. Yastu atmaratireva syat, atmatriptascha manavaha, atmanyevacha santushtaha, tasya karyam na vidyate. There is no duty for a person who is liberated. So Prabhupada in the purport says, a person who is fully Krishna conscious, is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness, no longer has any duty to perform. Due to his being Krishna conscious, all impiety within is instantly cleansed, an effect of many thousands of yajna performances. By such clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with the Supreme. His duty thus becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligation to the Vedic injunctions. That means Prabhupada, every moment he is receiving direction from Krishna. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashit. So here, Krishna uses the word Atma Triptaha. Atma Triptaha means self-illuminated. Means within, the super soul is dictating. That's why Prabhupada says when he was writing the purports, Krishna was dictating these purports from within. That's not just for the purports alone. For every single thing, every moment, Prabhupada is directly in touch with Krishna and Krishna is giving him direction. That is how Prabhupada knows everything about the past, present, and future of every living entity of the whole creation. Because that's what Krishna knows. So don't think Prabhupada is just another spiritual master, like some people think. You need a living spiritual master. What is this? Nonsense. You need a living spiritual master. What you really require is not a living spiritual master. You require a Vaishnava spiritual master who's a liberated soul, constantly in touch with Krishna within his heart, or constantly in touch with his spiritual master within his heart, constantly getting direction, constantly getting knowledge, constantly getting enlightenment about everything. Everything. So such a perfect personality is Prabhupada. Is it easy to find such a perfect personality? In this universe, it's very difficult to find. There's a statement of Parikshit Maharaj, 6th canto. Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prashantatma kotishwapi mahamune. In the words of Parikshit Maharaj in the Bhagavatam, such a liberated soul, Acharya, is called Narayana Parayana. And how does Krishna describe in the Bhagavad Gita such a Narayana Parayana? 3.17. What does Krishna say? Atma Truptaha. Yastu Atmaratireva Syat Atma Truptascha Manavaha Atmanyeva cha Santushtaha Tasya Karyam na Vidyate. So like this you must study the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, the different portions of the Bhagavatam itself. So this history is being traced. And now, after having come to the present, from the past he began, Shukadeva Goswami, the beginning of the 9th canto. He came up to the present. Parikshit Maharaj, you were born from Abhimanyu in the womb of Subhadra. Now he is describing the future. Past, present, future. Trikalagnya. This is proof. Shukadeva Goswami is Trikalagnya. So it's time up. The next class we can discuss the remaining verses. I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki.